Focusing a lot this morning, of course, on those tax cuts, but last night's budget also contained a number of measures well flagged on aged care. For more on that, we're joined by the ABC Social Affairs correspondent, Barbara Miller. Barbara, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Virginia. And that's right, aged care was flagged as a big focus in this budget. And on that front, I guess it didn't disappoint. The centrepiece, I suppose, of the measures announced by the Treasurer last night were these 14,000 additional home care packages. Now, we've heard a lot in recent days about the waiting list for those packages. I'm in Camden, southwest of Sydney, and I have with me David Napier, who's 71, and his wife, Doreen. David is currently receiving an in-home care package. That's a level 3 package, but he's waiting for a higher level package, a level 4. A bit more of that later. But first of all, David, just in general, what's your reaction to that key announcement regarding the in-home care packages?
Underwhelmed, because I think there's a lot more has to be done. 14,000 packages is really only scratching the surface. If you've got 110,000 people waiting for packages, how much longer are they going to have to wait for these packages? And how much more damage is going to be done to these people and their lives? Because without these packages, they don't have the necessary backup and services they require. And I think that's wrong.
Tell me about yourself, David. You are waiting, you've been assessed for level 4. That's a higher level of funding. That goes up to about $50,000 a year from currently what you're on, about
Yes.
$32,000. Does the announcement give you hope, though, that that process of getting you on to the level 4 could be fast-tracked?
Well, I hope so, because we really could do with the extra services. We could do with it, especially with allied services, which at the present moment I can't afford to access.
What sort of services are you talking
Well,
about here?
in my case, I lose my voice, so I'm looking at speech pathology. I'm in a wheelchair, and I'd like to have some physiotherapy to try and at least keep me somewhat mobile. I know that my condition doesn't allow that to happen, and it may not work, but it's something I want to try. I need an OT to look at scripting a new wheelchair for me, and that's somewhere in the region of $5,000. It has to come out of my package. All these extra things would help. My wife has been hospital 3 times in the past 3 months. She's now probably going to have to go back into hospital again because of a back surgery. So we've been living on packaged food. Well, it's okay for a short period of time, but for a long period of time it's not that great. So I would look for someone to come in and do meal preparation. All these things which everyday Australians take for granted, we can't take for granted. We can't do it. I can't stand up. If I start walking, the pain's excruciating. If I go and do a small job in the house, the pain is unbelievable.
Are you heartened in any way, though, that aged care and measures targeting older Australians in general have been a focus, that there is now recognition that this is an age group with an ageing population that we need to service better?
Definitely. It is definitely a step forward, and that I definitely don't disagree with that. It's a step forward. I would just like to see more detail about where these 14,000 packages are going to go to. Who on this massive waiting list are going to receive these packages? They're talking about high care needs, and I think that's very important, because there's a lot of people who are on high care needs who need these packages, and this is a definite step forward.
If I could just bring you in, Doreen, briefly, what's your general reaction to last night's budget?
As David says, it's a step forward, but there's such a lot to do yet. And we belong to we're the baby boomers, and there's such a lot of people, and there's more people becoming aged all the time. So even though there's 14,000, there's all these other people on the waiting list, and there's people being added to the waiting list. So what's going to happen to these people that just don't get packages?
So I think fair to say, though, that although there's been a lot of measures targeting this group, there's also more places for residential care, 13,500, more money for mental health services, for older Australians and for palliative care. But it's at best, I think, a cautious welcome from these people directly affected by that crucial in-home care package measure at the centrepiece of the government's budget measures last night.
Barbara Miller, thank you. So important to hear those voices, the ones who actually benefit or don't benefit from these policy decisions made so far away in Canberra.